and welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm going over how to play a new version of the Obstagoon, Frosslass, and Alolan Marowak team I showcased in my last video. I know this video is a bit redundant since the Holiday Cup ends today, but I wanted to share what I ran because I had a lot of success with a very underused Pokemon. Instead of Alolan Marowak, I'm running Dragon Breath Charizard Safe Swap. Charizard is very glassy, but outputs so much raw damage that it will either deal massive damage or grab shields from every Pokemon in the Holiday Cup. I picked Charizard over Alolan Marowak for a harder response to Wigglytuff and Altaria. I went 10-0 with this team at 2,600 to 2,700 ELO. Now I'm going to go over the team overview and some of the strategies that I use. Obstagoon on the lead catches Alolan Graveler, bulky ice types like Lapras and Dugong, and ghosts such as Sableye, Drifblim, Alolan Marowak, and Frosslass. Dragon Breath's Charizard soft counters Obstagoon's most common weaknesses, like Vigoroth, Altaria, and Wigglytuff. Frosslass covers Obstagoon's weaknesses as well and is a great closer with hard-hitting moves that can hit for neutral or better against almost every Pokemon. I have a Dragon Breath on my Charizard to be able to beat Altaria, and for better matchups against Alolan Marowak and Lantern. With Dragon Breath and good PvP IVs, Charizard can do pretty well against Alolan Marowak, and can reach 2 Blast Burns against Wigglytuff. Because of the sheer damage of Blast Burn, almost every Pokemon has to respect the move, and Charizard is able to grab shields, setting up Frosslass to sweep. Like the previous team, the main idea of this team is to grab shields with the safe swap and to get the Pokemon low enough to farm down with Frosslass in order to overcome bad leads. Unfortunately for this team, Rise to the Occasion and Jonkus, I'll put their channels in the description, created videos using Wigglytuff, Bibarel, and Alolan Marowak, and facing that is pretty much a hard loss if they're leading with Wigglytuff, and if you swap into their Charizard, they respond with a Bibarel, and they shield your Blast Burn. Lantern running Spark is tricky to deal with in the lead and in the back. It has the bulk to survive Shadow Balls from Frosslass, Blast Burns from Charizard, and hard-hitting moves that warrant shields. Seeing Lantern in the lead is the best case scenario. If it is running Spark, Obstagoon barely loses, allowing Frosslass to farm down the Lantern for energy. If the Lantern is running Water Gun, then Obstagoon wins with ease. However, Lantern in the back is really hard to combat unless you land a Blastborn or a Shadow Ball. Alolan Graveler on the lead is amazing to see, but in the back is not so great. But you can beat an Alolan Graveler with Frosslass if you have a 2 Powder Snow advantage, and if Charizard lands a Blast Burn, it puts Alolan Graveler pretty low. Galvantula is also pretty tricky because, unlike a lot of other electric types, it beats Obstagoon because of its bug typing. However, Frosslass can beat Galvantula with a 1 Powder Snow energy advantage. In the lead, catching a lunge on your Charizard will probably scare the Galvantula to swapping out. Thankfully, not many Galvantulas are lurking around here in the Holiday Cup, with all the Wigglytuff, Alolan Marowak, Alolan Graveler, and Altaria. So now I'm going to commentate over 5 battles. In this first match, I lead Obstagoon and my opponent leads Frosslass. This is a very positive matchup for me, so my opponent immediately swaps into a Vigoroth. I respond with Frosslass, and the great thing about this matchup is that I can throw the Avalanche, I don't have to shield anything, and I can come out of the match with residual energy. When I see that their own Frosslass comes in, I'm assuming that they're running a team made by Zionic, a content creator, and the team is Frosslass Lead, Vigoroth Safe Swap, and Stunfisk in the back, because Stunfisk does not definitely want to see the Frosslass that I came in with. So I bait Shadow Ball with Avalanche and then go for Shadow Ball myself. And then I swap into my Obstagoon, preserving my Frosslass, not wanting to get farmed down for energy. I shield 1 Avalanche on my Obstagoon and tank the second, and My opponent tried to swap right here, but I pressed on the charge move before they pressed the swap button, so a visual bug showed that the Frosslass was at full energy, but really the Frosslass is pretty low and it tanked the Night Slash. So now, as I anticipated, there is a Stunfisk in the back, and unfortunately for me, the Stunfisk actually throws Mud Bomb and not Discharge and gets 2 extra Mud Shots. Knowing that my Charizard cannot survive 2 discharges, and the Stunfisk actually might pull a Sack Swap on their own Frosslass, and I might actually lose the game, I swap into my Frosslass to catch a move. So I sacrifice my Frosslass, and then I'm able to throw the Dragon Claw right as I get to Blast Burn, and my opponent actually sacks their own Frosslass as well. So really good play by them, and both of us get some lag, so they aren't able to get to a discharge, and I'm able to get to the Dragon Claw, and I take out the Stunfisk. Good game, and well played. Second match, and my Obstagoon leads into an Altaria. This is extremely bad, so I swap immediately into my Charizard, and they swap into a Wigglytuff. Now this tells me that they don't have a strong response to a Charizard, which is why I utilize the Charizard safe swap. They shield the first Blast Burn, and because I have decently good PvP IVs on my Charizard, I'm able to get to another Blast Burn, and this actually gets both shields from the Wigglytuff. So now I'm up 2 shields against 0 shields against my opponent, and I come in with my Frosslass, and I shield this move. It is a play rough, and I go for Avalanche, over farming a tiny bit. The Avalanche takes out the Wigglytuff, and out comes an Alolan Marowak. However, because Charizard took out both of my opponent's shield, I can go straight for Shadow Ball against this Alolan Marowak, and it one-shots the Alolan Marowak. I try to get as much Powder Snow damage in as I can with my Frosslass, so that my Obstagoon can take out this Altaria, 1 shield. So right here, I'm not throwing the Night Slash immediately, and I'm stacking 2 of them to make sure that my opponent does not get any extra Dragon Breaths in, because a Sky Attack from this range would have brought me dangerously close to being dead. So I take out the Altaria. Good game, and well played. In this match, I actually face an expert ranking trainer called Reacts, and they lead Wigglytuff. This is horrible for me, so I swap immediately into my Charizard. And I'll always go straight for Blast Burn, even though most of Wigglytuff's shield. And they shield the first Blast Burn. And right as I get to, actually, I have to shield this Ice Beam, otherwise I won't be able to get to another Blast Burn. And right as I get to a Blast Burn, my opponent swaps into Lapras, catching the Blast Burn, so their Wigglytuff is preserved, since Lapras is more tanky and can tank the Blast Burn. However, the Blast Burn still did a lot of damage, and it brings the Lapras dangerously close to being KO'd. So now I can come in with my Obstagoon and farm down the Lapras. When the Wigglytuff comes in, I immediately swap into my Frosslass. And I overfarm a little bit of energy, and I go for an Avalanche. They actually let it go because in the back is their own Frosslass, so it's a good thing that I overfarmed a little bit of energy, because now I have energy advantage against this Frosslass. 1 Shadow Ball would take out the Frosslass, so I go for Shadow Ball here, feeling pretty confident that I can reach 2 before they get to 2 Avalanches. They shield the first Shadow Ball, and I get to the second Shadow Ball, taking out the Frosslass. Good game, well played. In this match, my opponent leads Shadow Grotle. So, because I don't have a Frosslass isn't a hard counter for this, because Frosslass doesn't resist the Razor Leafs, I store a Night Slash, and then I swap into my Charizard. They respond with a Shadow Lapras. Now, being Shadow, they have to respect the damage from Blast Burn because it would take it out from there. So now I have Shield advantage, and Charizard did its job. So now I can come in with my Obstagoon, and I go for this Cross Chop. Unfortunately, I'm not able to get it great. So I shield this Surf, knowing that it's Shadow, it will do a lot of damage. And unfortunately, they get to another one just because I didn't hit it great on my Cross Chop, which is pretty bad on my part, but it's okay because now when they come in with Vigoroth, and I swap into my Frosslass, they make a mistake by immediately swapping into their Shadow Grotle, because now I can completely farm down this Shadow Grotle. It's really close though, and I hang on with 1 HP, and courtesy to Psionic, a dream. I throw the first Avalanche, and it gets the shield, and I'm just barely able to get to the second one. This does a lot of damage to the Vigoroth, but isn't enough to KO. Because of the stored energy that I had, I'm able to get to the Cross Chop just in time before I get taken out by the Vigoroth and take out the Vigoroth at 1 HP. It was a really fun battle. Well played by my opponent. In this battle, my opponent leads Skarmory. Now, I know that if the Skarmory doesn't land a Brave Bird, or I shield a Brave Bird, then Obstagoon wins this matchup. So, I'm going to shield this move, just in case it is Brave Bird, and it's a Sky Attack. And they swap into their own Altaria, actually, so now I can swap into my Frosslass, and the Altaria lets it go. Now they come in with their own Obstagoon. I let the Night Slash go, and I'm just barely able to survive and get to an Avalanche. This gets the shield from the Obstagoon. I now come in with Charizard, because the Obstagoon actually deals super effective damage to my own Obstagoon, and I catch a Night Slash on my own Obstagoon. Having 2 Cross Chops stacked, I wanted to go for Cross Chop on my Obstagoon to get a shield or take out the opposing Obstagoon, but they immediately swap into their Skarmory and they absorb the Night Slash. And I actually wanted to farm down this Skarmory, so I throw 0 bubbles here and I get a tiny bit of residual energy. And then I'm able to get to a Cross Chop, which will either take out the Obstagoon or grab the shield. I do grab the shield, and now 1 Dragon Claw from my Charizard will take out the Obstagoon. Good game, and well played. Thanks for watching this video. If you enjoyed the video or it helped you in any way, consider subscribing and hitting the like button. Anyways, happy battling and Happy New Year. Peace.